You wanted to know, and I have the answers. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Danica. I'm a part-time reseller. I sell on Poshmark Canada, Poshmark US, eBay, whatnot. I have tried it all, but today's video is about Poshmark US. So this video has been a long time coming, and it's just a Q&A. So a while ago, I did put up a question bubble on my Instagram account. If you don't follow me on Instagram, it's the same handle, thrifty_stew. Make sure you do follow me there for just more tips and tricks and hauls. And anyway, so I did ask if anyone had any questions about selling on Poshmark US from Canada, and you guys came through. I got such good questions and I'm so excited to answer these for you guys. So before we get started, just a reminder to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Give me a thumbs up before you go and leave any questions that you might still have in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them for you. So let's jump right in. This first question says, how do you get returns back across the border, especially higher value ones? So I'm really lucky. I have not lost a case on Poshmark US yet. Every case that I've had opened on Poshmark US, I have won, so I have not had to worry about getting a return back. Now, hypothetically, if it did happen, I know someone who is also in Calgary and sells in the US using the same service I do, and what she did was have the warehouse in Montana just hold on to the package, and when it resold, she just had them put a new label on it and resend it. I don't know if they would do that as like a one-time courtesy. I don't know if other services would do that for anyone, but basically it would just count as an import. You would need to get it shipped back to you, which is the costly part of using a cross-border courier. Shipping to the US is cheap, but getting things back to Canada from the US can be expensive. So this is why I make extra sure. I mean, it's always good to make sure that your listings are as transparent as possible, but you know, things happen, things slip through the cracks, but I've been lucky in that department. Okay, the next question is everything you know regarding taxing would be helpful. So just a disclaimer, I am not a tax professional. I am not an accountant. I hire an accountant to do my taxes for me when tax season comes. So I will tell you what I understand, but I highly suggest you speak to an actual accountant to get proper information. If you go to the Facebook groups and you go to Instagram and even YouTube, there can be so much conflicting information. So it's really important to get your tax information directly from a tax professional. You could even call the CRA here in Canada and ask them if you wanted. I'm not sure how that works, but anyway, so basically I keep track of all my expenses and all my income. Right now I'm using QuickBooks self-employed, but I think I'm going to cancel my subscription for next year and just take it on myself. I keep all my receipts for thrift stores, gas, dropping off packages to the cross-border courier, imports, anything like that, and I keep those in a plastic folder, and I will keep those for, I think you're supposed to keep them for 7 years. And once tax season comes, my accountant has me fill out basically an annual summary. So how much I spent on inventory, how much I made, how much I profited, how much I spent on items that actually sold, so that we can figure out how much money I spent that hasn't been made back yet, things like that. In terms of remitting tax, from what I understand, and again, this is just me, I'm not an accountant, I'm a flight attendant, but as far as I know, the US and Canada have an agreement that if you run a business in Canada from the US or the other way around, you remit to where you live. That's what I understand. Again, ask your accountant. How to take care of the tax at Canada at the year end since we don't pay tax in US? So that was the same person. It's the same, basically the same question. So that's what I would suggest you do, is talk to an accountant and just get them to do your taxes for you. Cross-border shipping, how do you do it? Okay, so basically how cross-border shipping works is you find a business, a courier, that couriers parcels from Canada to the US and drops off at USPS for you. So here in Alberta, I use DYK Post, and their sister company is called Montana Mailbox. So you sign up for Montana Mailbox, they give you a US address, you put that into your Poshmark.com account as your return address, and then you're able to sell on Poshmark US. When something sells, you get your prepaid shipping label. You just pack up your package as usual, put on your prepaid shipping label, and bring it to the cross-border courier. The one that I use, DYK Post, I can only speak about them because that's the only one I've ever used. They have a manifest online on their website that you have to fill out before you drop off your packages. So it has like the name, the address, what's in it. I just always put clothing, the declared value, and the tracking number. That way when they get to the US border, they have all their bases covered and everything is accounted for and manifested. It's just like if you use Canada Post to send to the US, you have to fill out the same paperwork. So that is nothing unusual, nothing shady or sketchy about that. And yeah, it's super easy. The one that I use, DYK Post, how much they charge is based by weight. So I think up to 2 pounds is $1, and then it's like $2, $3, $4. So today I dropped off 4 packages, but they were pretty heavy, so I paid $9. But I mean, the amount that I sold is much more than that, so it's worth it for me. Next question, is it worth the effort? That's a loaded question. That could be its own video. And actually, I will link a video up here that I recently did. That's my 2-year recap on Poshmark US. So basically what I would say is, it is worth the effort, especially with the exchange rate right now. The exchange rate is like $1 US is like $1.36, $1.38 Canadian. So when you're converting that, you are making much more in Canadian dollars selling on Poshmark US. Some people even like wait to cash out until the exchange rate is even better, whatever. That's too much work for me. It's been holding steady, I would say, between 136, 138 for the last month. So that's been why I kind of had my US closet on vacation mode for a while. I just felt like it was too much for me to handle. It's just with work was crazy, everything going on in my family life, my personal life, it was just really overwhelming for me. So I just closed my US closet for a while, and once I reopened it, I was like, oh my goodness, I need to actually put most of my focus here because this is where I'm going to be making more money. Another question about taxes, do you have to claim anything in the US? Yeah, well, you don't claim it in the US, you claim it in Canada. As I don't know how my accountant does it. I don't know how she like divides it or anything like that. So sorry. EK, her name is Erica. EK Thrift says, I've always wondered about this, but I don't need to know. She was just supporting. Tell me all the things, mostly how do you ship across the border, but also how do you make a US closet? So I actually do have a video, I will link it here, that is just like my basic how to get started selling on Poshmark US from Canada. It has a Google spreadsheet in the description because you know me, I'm a Virgo, and I needed to make sure that everyone who watched that video just had what they needed to get started. Now, next page, what do you do to ship? I also wanted to add to kind of the similar question earlier about cross-border shipping. USPS has free shipping supplies. So the cross-border courier that I use, they actually have the free free supplies right in the office, and you can just ask for them and bring them home, which is so useful because if I'm making more sales on Poshmark US than Canada, I'm not using shipping supplies that I actually paid for to ship anything. So my shipping supplies that I do pay for last me so much longer because I'm pretty much only using them for Poshmark and whatnot right now. How do you convert your mailing labels so they can ship to the US? Thank you. So you don't need to convert anything. Once you open a Poshmark US closet, you will receive USPS shipping labels, prepaid labels. You cannot sell to the US from a Canadian Poshmark account. You do need to open a completely separate closet with a different email address and then put in your US return address in there so that they will operate as two completely separate accounts, two completely separate closets, and that's when cross-listing tools come in super handy. I'm using Prime Lister right now. This is not sponsored, but I am using Prime Lister. We're still working out the kinks with the automation tools, but I'm kind of sticking it out for right now, and it makes it so easy to just bulk cross list from Canada to the US. I don't know if Vendu and List Perfectly work on Poshmark Canada. I haven't looked into it. I've only ever used Prime Lister to cross list, and then they also do I should look at the list of websites that they actually cross list to because it is kind of crazy. They cross list to, let's see here, I have that Meghan Trainor song that is so popular on TikTok right now stuck in my head. Okay, so they cross list to Mercari, Poshmark US, Poshmark Australia, Facebook, Etsy, eBay US, eBay Canada, eBay Australia, Depop, Instagram, Grailed, and Tradesy. So obviously the Australian ones, it's mostly for like Australians to cross post from Poshmark Australia, eBay Australia, Depop, Etsy, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. But like out of these, I could definitely be cross listing to more platforms. I just don't. Someone else asking if it's worth the time. Listen, what I will say is once everything is set up, it does not take that much more effort. It does not take that much more time. It does, I mean, you can definitely cross list without using any kind of automation. I did for a long time. I just would drag and drop on my computer the photos from my library to one listing. I would have another tab open on Poshmark US and drag and drop to that tab. I would write the title in one tab and the description in the other one, and then just copy and paste it to the other one. It did not double the time that I was using listing. It maybe added like an extra, you know, just a little bit of time. You do need to stay on top of deleting listings that sell on one platform from other platforms. That is something you do need to be very diligent about. I totally let that ball slide a little bit last year. I think there was like 3 or 4 times in a row that I was making sales and I had already sold on Poshmark Canada, and I was like, okay, I need to tighten things up a little bit because that can't happen. And it doesn't like really penalize you on Poshmark, but I mean, no one wants to buy from someone that is always canceling their sales. How to find places that can take them from to the US from Canada for shipping. So yeah, depending on where you are, I would say the one that I use, DYK Post. So they have offices in Calgary, Edmonton, Red Deer, Lethbridge, Richmond, and Abbotsford. I'm pretty sure those are all their offices. So they're expanding into BC and more into BC. They only had one BC office until recently. They just opened a second one. Everywhere else, I know some people use Stallion Express and Chit Chats, and I think that is more in Eastern Canada. I don't know how many offices they have. I don't know what their process is, but those are the ones that I would look into. And obviously things are always popping up, so just, you know, keep looking. If you don't find anything in your area, just keep searching and you might be lucky and find a service that you can use. I do know also in Winnipeg, I think there's one called Running Rover or something like that. So I just Googled cross-border shipping Canada, US or something like that. And that is the best way to find them. Can you auction off and can you auction off Canadian sweets, please? We'll pay any price for those peach candies. I just sent her a huge bag of fuzzy peaches because apparently you don't have them in the US, or they don't have them in the US, and she got some in a whatnot package and was like talking to me about them, so I just sent her a big package of them. Do you need a US dollar based bank account? So basically yes, but there's a difference between, and this is a little confusing to me because I've actually received conflicting information about this. The service I use is called Wise, and it gives you US bank account credentials. I mean, it opens up a bank account. It's not just credentials. Your money does go into that bank. But I've heard of people going to RBC and not getting a US dollar bank account because you can get those at Canadian banks, but it's still with a transit number and whatever, and you need, like, there's different numbers that they use in the US that you actually need to plug into Poshmark US. Although actually right now Poshmark US has updated their payment payout methods, and you can actually use PayPal. So maybe I should try to pay myself out with PayPal and see if that works with my like Canadian email address. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna try that. Like, should I do it right now? Let's see if it works. I'm just taking you guys on for, you know, a little bit of a ride today. I mean, I was pretty organized and I had everything ready, but you know, sometimes you can't plan everything. You can't see where everything is gonna go. So that's my little words of wisdom for today. Okay, so I have $159.88 US that is available to me right now. So $159.88 US is actually equivalent to $217.90 Canadian. So right now the exchange rate is 138. So it's still like very strong, which like it works both ways too, because I do have layovers in the US and I'm like, I don't want to spend any money because I know how much this is going to cost me in Canadian dollars. Okay, so redeem your balance. Let's try PayPal. There is a 35-cent fee to use PayPal. So, okay, so right now they have instant transfer. I don't know what that even means. It just says get paid in 30 minutes or less, $2 fee. I don't know how that works. PayPal, 35-cent fee. Venmo, 35-cent fee. We don't have Venmo in Canada anyway, so we won't be using that. Bank direct deposit, no fee, and request a check. It is crazy to me that you can request a check in the mail from Poshmark.com. 2 weeks, it says. 2 weeks, no fee. Okay, so PayPal, let's try. I'm very excited. Connect your PayPal. Oh, it already knows my PayPal email. That's kind of, I wonder if I've used my PayPal to pay for things on Poshmark.com. I think I have. Yeah, it says it received my payment request, so it will go into my PayPal account. So you actually don't even need a US bank account anymore. Very interesting. Okay, cool. Because then I'm like paying fees to transfer from US to Canada. I mean, it's not very much, but anyway, I shouldn't even tell you that because I have a Wise, what do you call it? Affiliate, whatever, but whatever. I'm just telling you the truth, and I'm telling you the easy way to do things. And, you know, if that works better for you, then even better. Okay. So I think those were all of the questions I had received. Let me know in the comments if you have any other questions. Before you do that though, make sure that you watch the first video and the recap video and this video. And then if you still have questions, then for sure DM me on Instagram. You know, leave me a comment in this video and I will be sure to answer it for you if I can. I've been doing it for 2 years, so I like to think I kind of know how it works, but you know, I don't know everything. And yeah, so thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.